Hey, what's going on, my friends? Kyle Regal here, Yoga Strength TV, and today continuing talking about the doshas, primarily for what I found out for peak performance. So it's pretty cool. You've got different timings here throughout the day, Kapha, Pitta, Vata, so knowing which type you are primarily will help you become more productive during the day. I'll use myself as an example, and it really makes sense to me because for me, I'm always the most productive generally in these, it's not 10 a.m. It's like, oh shit, I'm going to be productive. Somewhere around 10 a.m., somewhere around 2 p.m. could fluctuate. All these could fluctuate, but generally, okay, these are a rough, fairly accurate, fairly rough timing for when you're going to, express the particular dosha that you have throughout the day. So, Kapha, remember, slow, cold. It's why generally when we wake up in the morning, most people are kind of like, most people, I don't know. I get up around between 5 and 6 a.m. So I get up over here, which is Vata, between 5 and 6, sometimes a little earlier, 4 o'clock. But most people get up in the Kapha time zone, 6 a.m., 7 o'clock for the most part. So they get up very, just slow moving, slow to get going. It's really good for Kaphas to get up in the morning and exercise and get some movement because it helps set them up to activate and run on their Pitta, if you will, throughout this time of the day. Vata, okay, we get here in the afternoon. This is a good time to eat, begin to wind down, allow the nervous system to start to relax a little bit because Pitta during this time of the day, it's when we're go, right? Generally, I'm making these videos somewhere in this time of the day. I have my energy's high, I'm ready to go. And what I found is always interesting, around the 2 o'clock, for me it was always between basically the 1:30 and the 4 o'clock hour of the day. When I used to work construction, I would hit this ridiculous wall of just being tired and exhausted. So what happens, I think, I don't know, I've still got more to learn on this. I probably had some type of imbalance within these two. And what normally goes out of balance is your Vata, but it can show up as a Kapha quality, okay? So if you study anything on disease, or really anything, like automotive, fixing stuff, working on things, whatever it may be, just because a symptom shows up and it looks like a box, that was a totally example, but it looks like whatever it looks like is the point, the cause could be something completely different. So, perfect example I think we can all relate to, have a wobble in our steering in our car, right? Something, we're going down the road, all of a sudden we get this wobble going on. Well, how it shows up is the wobble, okay? The cause, okay, so the wobble shows up as a Kapha. Slow, for me it did, remember in that between, that time in the afternoon when I would get tired, okay? So the wobble, the Kapha in me, would show up sometime in the afternoon. I'd just be, out of it, or that's the wobble. What causes the wobble? Generally with anything being out of imbalance within these particular 3 doshas, the only 3 doshas, it's something with the Vata that is out of balance. So, what can cause the wobble in the car? Well, again, we're looking at, could be a low tire, could be a weight came off of the tire that balances the tire, could be something in the steering, could be something in the drive line, could be a bent rim, for example. You park your car right up on the curb, bend the rim. So, how it shows up as the wobble really truly could be caused, okay, by something completely different. I just named all those 3. So, point being, if you're out of balance, it's generally always going to be out of a Vata balance. So research that. Again, Perfect Health, Deepak Chopra, that's where I'm learning most of all this. Google's a great resource too, but check that out. So I found that I was always getting tired in the afternoon. Now I know that. Now I know that it still happens. It's generally I'm much more balanced in these, so it's not as severe. Like it would be so bad where I'd be driving a truck or operating equipment and I'd have to go just take a break and lay down for like 15, 20 minutes. I would take my lunch around this time, eat my lunch real quick, and lay down. So I was able to adjust my schedule to help balance that. So it's my experience on where I was actually out of balance. Now I know that I'm Pitta Vata primarily. So I'm focusing most of my time, my productive time, to get things done during this time frame. I allow myself a very good amount of time in the morning, not the complete 4 hours. I generally would get up at 5. I'm back home, done at the gym by 9, 10 o'clock at the latest. So I do get a lot done in the morning, but it's slower. Obviously I get to the gym, it's higher paced. And then Vata, generally I'm practicing yoga sometime around the 6 p.m. time, so I'm beginning to calm down. Vata is starting to kick in. Also, what I found is interesting, the Vata is in charge of your nervous system. So things like taking tests, doing hand-eye coordination, it's going to increase in this time of the day. So your precision, maybe look at it like that, will increase. So if you got to take tests, if you've got an interview to schedule, this is a good time to schedule the interview. Really, I would say any of those would be good. And then over here, we're looking more at the afternoon and into the night. So a lot of people in the entrepreneurial world say 2 p.m. like midnight, crush it, go all night. Well, these are just pittas. That's just, they function well at night. Sometimes I do. I'm more of, I guess, what you could call a morning pitta, but I'm generally in bed sleeping by 10 p.m. But those of you who do function really well at night, this is because you guys probably are leaning towards a pitta, okay? Kapha, again, right here, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Again, we're slowing down in the afternoon. My kapha really kicks in, depending on when I'm practicing leaving, coming out of yoga, this is when my kapha kicks in. And then Vata here in the middle of the night, this is when most people experience what's called REM sleep, like the deep sleep in our rest. When we vivid dreams, our nervous system is basically healing, rebuilding muscle. That's why it's very important to make sure we get good, adequate rest, and we're sleeping at this time. These are just natural cycles of these 3 doshas, 2 different classifications, 2 different time zones that they fall in, but it really makes sense. So, moral is, if you haven't gone and taken the dosha quiz yet, doshaquiz.chopra.com, go there, take the dosha quiz, find out what you are, because here's how it can help. Once you know how you are, have your business friend or your employees, your business partners, encourage them to take this quiz, because it will help you guys organize, plan, maintain your day around the peak times of your productivity, the peak times of, if you've got to, if you need to meet deadlines, obviously Pitta is going to be a good time to schedule deadlines to become completed. Vata in the afternoon, if you're beginning new projects, maybe that's a good time to get things done. Kapha in the mornings, maybe that's why we have meetings generally in the morning. We come to, I don't know, I don't really do this, but I did when I was in construction. We would have a Monday morning meeting, 6:30. Okay, so that's Kapha. Bringing it back in. We're revving people up. We're kind of leading them to the door. Once you get the kapha going in us, then we're good to go for the rest of the day. So lots of value in understanding this to help increase productivity in your life and your relationships and your business. That's it. I'm out. See ya.